November 28th, 1952, 8 a.m. Captain's log, day 2. This is Titus Brigham, captain of the H.M.S. Freewing. Want to make sure I include my name within these logs for if I start losing my fucking mind. Or if they're found in the event we never return to shore, that people can learn about the tragedy that befell this crew. Last night my worst fear became reality. Greg was looking Yuri over her injuries or some sort of new markings. Yuri snapped. He grabbed Greg's face, pried open his mouth, and spewed that disgusting shit straight down his throat. Everyone was shocked, but Darren stepped forward with overwhelming courage and forcefully took Yuri to the engine room and locked it tight. Now, we knew for sure Yuri was dangerous and beyond help, so we intended to keep him locked in there for as long as our mission lasted. I made sure Greg was alright, but he was coughing and vomiting blood everywhere. He simply looked at me and said to leave him in the engine room with Yuri, as he didn't want to risk our safety in case he began acting like him. Shot down the idea immediately, of course, as he was one of my crewmates. I could not let him befall the same fate. But he stood up, looked at me with one of the most serious looks he'd ever given, and told me he'd rather let Yuri kill him than harm someone on a crew. If we didn't throw him in the brig, he'd do it himself. Couldn't let him do it alone, so me and Darren took him to the engine room, threw him in and locked it tight. We figured both were possibly lost causes at that point, so we chained the door shut. But just in case, we did give Greg a radio in case he wasn't affected, so he could radio if he needed food or water, anything else. I took some welding gear from the supply room and blowtorched a small slit through the engine room door, not large enough for a person to fit through, but enough to slide food and water to Greg from the other side. After that, I'll admit my stalwart attitude completely crumbled in front of my crew. I started having a full-blown fucking meltdown, worrying about being stranded, not seeing my boys again, my wife. I felt terrible for my men. It must be truly mortifying to see your own captain break down like that. Don't know how they kept it calm. Regardless, we ventured further into the zone this morning at about 6. But we didn't get far before the radar began detecting underwater mines. So to preserve my crew's safety further, we backed out and attempted to form some semblance of a fucking plan to push forward. Fortunately, our comms were still down. Shane, our comms officer, has been fucking with the systems all night and day. Didn't sleep a wink, and unfortunately all that has still amounted to nothing. The radio still just transmits static to HQ. Trying to stay calm, but the situation has gotten 10 times worse than it was before, and I don't know what the next couple of nights will bring. I think our best course of action is to retreat back to base and warn our commanding officers of the dangers this zone brings. We will make sure to log again tomorrow, as to keep myself sane and log what happens. Again, this is Captain Titus Brigham, the H.M.S. Freewing. Over and out.